One of the things that I wrote in the description of this video is the Ouroboros, karma, and transcending the reincarnation process. Well, the Ouroboros is what causes the reincarnation process, this endless cycle of you incarnating into this world. If you do not transcend this system while you are alive, you cannot do it while you are dead. And that is also a huge part of what we're talking about when we're talking about completing the great work. We are talking about breaking through this or transcending this Ouroboros so that you don't automatically incarnate into this world over and over. We hear a lot about karma, and pretty much like every other thing that has to do with magic, with higher states of consciousness, with transcendence, fulfilling the purpose that we came here to do, as with all of those things, just like karma, most people have no idea what those things mean. They've been reduced to like pop culture cliches and phrases. And now when people think of karma, they think of things like, if you be good, then good things happen to you. And if you do bad, then bad things happen to you. And are those statements true? Yeah, on some level they are, but karma is not the be all and the end all. The Buddha never, ever taught that you can transcend this realm, that you can move on to the next stage, that you can complete the great work or reach enlightenment. The Buddha never said that you can reach enlightenment through performing acts that give you good karma. Just like Jesus said that you will never find the kingdom of heaven through acts, through doing things. Both the Buddha and Christ taught that you cannot reach enlightenment, you cannot reach the kingdom of heaven through acting, through creating what people think of as good karma. So, but does that mean that good karma is absolutely pointless or that there's no validity to it? No, it doesn't mean that. Most people are going to take many, many lifetimes to do this work. And in those lifetimes, they want to accumulate as much good karma as possible so that they experience favorable circumstances and situations whenever they incarnate. However, you get to the point where when you're focusing on karma, since it will not allow you to transcend this realm, or it will not allow you to reach enlightenment, it will not allow you to build the solar body, any of those things. You reach a point where the only thing you are doing by trying to accumulate more and more and more good karma is almost like constantly trying to have the high score on a video game. You're not going anywhere else. You're not doing anything else. You're not breaking out of this endless, repetitious cycle. The only thing you're doing is trying to accumulate good karma so that every time you cycle back through, you're experiencing positive or pleasant circumstances or situations. So that's the only thing karma really does for you. The man who taught me, I didn't understand what this meant in the beginning. He told me one time, he said, there are those who have transcended karma. And, in the beginning, I didn't understand a lot of what this stuff meant. He was talking about how some of the people who do this work, they don't even consider karma a factor in completing this work, in reaching enlightenment, building the solar body, completing the great work, any of those things. Karma is not even a factor to them in this stuff. And I couldn't figure out, why is that? How is that the case? But it's the case because what they are trying to do is transcend this system. They're not trying to come back over and over and over and just have good fortune or, pleasant circumstances. They are trying to transcend this system so that they can do other things. What those other things are is whatever your will is, essentially. Once you transcend the system, you can create your own system. You can create your own world and dwell within it the same way that God did with this one. You can also come back into this one whenever, wherever, and however you choose to do so. You are no longer at the mercy of karma or circumstance or anything else. You will have, this is what they mean when they're talking about one of the reasons for doing magic is to break the chains which bind us to the stars. That's what you have done when you have transcended the Ouroboros, when you have transcended the Leviathan, when you have defeated Choronzon, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to show you some pictures. And I'm not just going to tell you about this stuff, because here's the thing about just telling people things. You'll find a lot of philosophers, I call them philosophers, not magicians. because a magician is someone who does magic. A magician is someone who acts. A magician is not someone who just reads a bunch of books. A magician is not someone who just debates philosophies or tries to convince people of things. You'll find things, for example, and I don't trash talk other people's work, but take, for example, someone like Rudolf Steiner, who I was talking to a friend about him just yesterday, how Rudolf Steiner gave all these people all of these, I guess you might want to call them prophecies, bits of information, theories, all of this stuff, but very, very few, if any, techniques or practices. Well, if all you're doing is giving people philosophies or teachings or concepts or all of this kind of stuff, and you're not giving them a way to discover these things for themselves, then all you're doing is asking them to trade one set of dogma for another dogma. You're asking them to trade what they were taught by religion or what they were taught by their parents or what they were taught by society for something that you're telling them. And that is not what I'm here to do at all. It's like the Buddha said, be a lamp unto yourself. Don't believe anything that I tell you unless you can try it for yourself and see whether it's true or not.